Charlie Bennett was about as ordinary as they come, a 33-year-old office worker navigating the thrilling world of spreadsheets and coffee breaks. He spent his days at a cubicle, staring at numbers that felt like they were mocking him, and his nights binge-watching shows that promised escapism but delivered little more than existential dread. Charlie's idea of adventure was trying a new sandwich at the deli down the street, and even that felt like a reach, but one unremarkable Wednesday, Charlie's life took a sudden detour into the absurd. It began with an innocuous spam email titled, "Discover the Secrets of Your Soul at the Soul Ranch." Naturally, he almost deleted it, but a picture of a smiling cow with rainbow sunglasses caught his eye. The email promised a soul-refreshing experience and included a surprisingly catchy tagline, "Don't just live, thrive." What the hell? Charlie chuckled, shaking his head. This better not be a pyramid scheme involving kale smoothies. Yet, a flicker of intrigue sparked within him. What if he could escape the monotony of his life? Maybe he could even find the meaning of it all, or at least get a good story out of it. That Friday, armed with a dubious sense of optimism, Charlie found himself driving down a dirt road flanked by lush, green pastures. A large wooden sign swayed gently in the breeze, "Soul Ranch, where emotions roam free." He snorted at the silliness of it all. As he parked his car, he felt a wave of apprehension wash over him. What was he getting into? The entrance was a large, colorful gate adorned with twinkling lights and an assortment of cheerful, cartoonish animals painted all over. He pushed open the gate, expecting to be greeted by a brochure-happy tour guide. Instead, he was met by a cacophony of bizarre creatures, half-human, half-animal beings capering around like they were auditioning for a circus. "Welcome to Soul Ranch," a creature that resembled a hybrid between a golden retriever and a human said, bouncing toward him with the kind of enthusiasm reserved for puppies. It wore a bright yellow apron. "I'm Joy. You must be Charlie. Come on in." Charlie blinked, processing what he was seeing. Joy's tail wagged in rhythm with the bounce of her furry legs. Hi," he managed, utterly baffled. "Don't worry. You'll love it here. Let's play some emotion tag." Joy exclaimed, dragging him into the center of a clearing where other creatures frolicked. Each of them had unique appearances. A tall, lanky figure with a smoky complexion labeled Grief loomed nearby, while a short, round fellow with an orange beak dubbed Anger squawked energetically, gesturing wildly. "Emotion tag?" Charlie repeated, scratching his head. "Yep. You'll get it. Just try not to get caught by Anger. He can be intense." Joy winked, her tail wagging more furiously. Before Charlie could protest, Anger zipped toward him, a playful glint in his eyes. Charlie stumbled back, not quite sure how to react. "Wait. I didn't sign up for tag." "Too late." Joy laughed, her laughter echoing like chimes in the breeze, and just like that, Charlie was off, sprinting away from Anger and dodging a creature that looked like a giant, multicolored balloon with eyes. Surprise. Charlie stumbled, laughter bubbling up from his chest. The absurdity of the situation was refreshing, a welcome break from his dreary life. Eventually, he found himself cornered by Grief, who loomed with a gentle yet sorrowful expression. "You can't escape your feelings forever, you know," Grief said, his voice deep and rumbling like distant thunder. I didn't even know I was trying to escape." Charlie laughed nervously. "You might want to figure that out," Grief replied, his tone oddly comforting. The day was a whirlwind of laughter, games, and emotional revelations, each encounter teasing out different aspects of Charlie's personality. He engaged with the creatures, finding solace and humor in their whimsical antics. But, as the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the ranch. The air shifted. All right, time for the Feelings Festival. Joy announced, bouncing with excitement. The festival was a chaotic explosion of color, laughter, and unusual contests. Charlie participated in a game called Emotional Charades, where he attempted to mimic various feelings while the creatures guessed. He found himself hilariously failing to embody apathy, causing waves of laughter to ripple through the crowd. Yet, amid the levity, a strange heaviness settled on Charlie's chest as he recalled his own emotional burdens. The games began to take on a different meaning, morphing from playful distractions to poignant reflections. When love, a gentle being with heart-shaped wings, suggested a round of "Who's Your Soulmate?" Charlie laughed but felt a prickle of discomfort. Wasn't he the one who had sworn off relationships after his last girlfriend, Maya, had left him feeling more lost than ever? As the night deepened, Joy approached him, her expression turning serious. "You've got a lot of emotions hiding in there, Charlie. It's okay to feel them." "Sure, but I came here to have fun, not to unpack my emotional baggage," he retorted, half jokingly. Joy tilted her head, her fluffy ears perked up. "But the fun won't last if you're running from yourself. Trust me, facing your emotions is the ultimate adventure." Charlie sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I guess I didn't realize I was avoiding anything. I thought I was just living." Living means embracing all of it: joy, grief, anger, love. It's all part of being human. Joy smiled, nudging him gently. "You can start with me, let's talk." And so, as the stars twinkled above the ranch, Charlie found himself sitting with Joy under a giant, shimmering willow tree, the air fragrant with blooming wildflowers. The conversation flowed effortlessly, a blend of humor and earnestness that surprised him. They talked about childhood dreams, silly fears, and the heartbreaking moments that shaped him. "I used to be terrified of clowns," he admitted, laughing. "Now I'm just scared of adulting." Joy giggled, her laughter infectious. "Clowns can be scary. But it's funny how we create these fears. You've got to let them go, you know." Charlie nodded, feeling a warmth in his chest he hadn't experienced in years. "Yeah, I guess I do." As the night wore on, the conversation took a more serious turn, and Charlie began to peel back the layers of his heart. He shared stories of Maya, the love they had, and how her departure left him feeling like a shell of himself. "I just don't understand how things went so wrong," he confessed, a hint of vulnerability creeping into his voice. "I should have fought harder." "Sometimes fighting means letting go," Joy said softly. "You don't have to carry that guilt. It's not yours to bear alone." The gentle wisdom in her words hung in the air, and Charlie felt the weight of his heart lift just a little. As he began to grasp the profound truth behind Joy's message, he felt something shift within him. The next day dawned with an electric buzz of excitement. Charlie awoke to the sounds of laughter and playful banter outside his cabin. The festival continued with more games and joy, but Charlie felt a new sense of purpose. "Today, we're going to take a trip to the Canyon of Memories," Joy announced, gathering everyone. "It's where we confront our pasts and embrace our true selves." "Sounds intense," Charlie said, though a thrill of anticipation coursed through him. "It's not just intense, it's fun." Joy winked. "Trust me." As they approached the canyon, Charlie felt a mix of exhilaration and anxiety. The path wound down into a vibrant valley filled with swirling colors and luminous plants that seemed to pulse with life. The creatures flitted around him, creating an atmosphere of camaraderie and encouragement. "Remember," Joy said, her voice steady. "This is about confronting your emotions, not running from them." Charlie swallowed hard, nodding. Got it. Let's do this. As they reached the canyon's edge, he felt an overwhelming sense of nostalgia wash over him. The memories of his past bubbled to the surface, moments of joy, heartbreak, and everything in between. Suddenly, he was surrounded by flickering images, his childhood, carefree and vibrant, the laughter shared with Maya, the painful day she walked away. Welcome to the Canyon of Memories. Joy's voice echoed, breaking through his reverie. Now, let's meet some old friends. One by one, emotions manifested as vivid entities. Joy led Charlie to grief, who seemed to pulse with a melancholic aura. This is where you'll face me, Grief said, his voice low and resonant. Let's remember together. Charlie stood before Grief, feeling the heaviness of his past. He closed his eyes and let the memories flood over him, the laughter and the love, the arguments and the silences. I miss her, he murmured, feeling tears prick his eyes. It's okay to miss her, Grief replied gently. But you must learn to let her go. Remember her, cherish the good, but don't let it consume you. As the canyon reverberated with his emotions, Charlie took a deep breath and opened his eyes. The weight of his grief felt lighter now, as if the canyon itself was absorbing it. He turned to Joy, who beamed with pride. You're doing great, she cheered, her excitement infectious. Next, Charlie faced Anger, who danced around him, a whirlwind of fiery energy. Let's have some fun. Anger declared, eyes twinkling with mischief. Show me how mad you are. Mad? Charlie echoed, taken aback. I don't know how to, but before he could finish, Anger zapped around him, playfully tugging at his shirt. Come on. Channel that frustration. You have it in you. In a moment of pure instinct, Charlie yelled, I'm angry at my job, my life, and, yes. Anger cheered, flipping in mid-air. Now you're cooking. As Charlie embraced the chaos of his feelings, he found himself laughing amidst the fury. The humor of the situation broke through the tension, and he realized that he didn't have to carry his anger alone. With each encounter, Charlie began to see the beauty in his emotions, the humor in the absurdity of life, the love in his memories, and even the sorrow in Grief. He understood now that each feeling was a thread in the tapestry of his existence. Finally, it was time to confront love. This being radiated warmth, its essence soft and inviting. Ah, Charlie, love said with a gentle smile. Are you ready? Charlie hesitated, unsure of what to expect. I think so. Love is both joy and pain, Love explained. It's about vulnerability. Let's embrace it. As they ventured deeper into the canyon, Charlie felt a surge of hope. In this safe space, he could finally accept his past. I loved her, he admitted, the words tumbling out like a confession. And that love shaped you, Love replied. It taught you, even if it hurt. Charlie nodded, feeling a rush of warmth. But how do I move on? By forgiving yourself, Love said, the glow around them intensifying. Embrace your memories, cherish the lessons, and know that love doesn't disappear. It transforms. With those words echoing in his heart, Charlie finally felt ready to let go of the guilt that had burdened him for so long. He smiled, understanding that it was okay to love and to remember, but also to live. As they emerged from the canyon, the sun painted the sky in brilliant hues of orange and pink. Charlie looked around at the vibrant beings he had come to cherish, his friends, his guides through this whimsical journey. Joy, anger, grief, and love stood together, each representing a vital part of his being. Charlie realized he was no longer the same man who had stumbled into the ranch days ago. He had faced his emotions, danced with them, and learned to laugh in the face of adversity, ready to celebrate. Joy chirped, her eyes sparkling. Absolutely. Charlie beamed, feeling lighter than air. The festival resumed with a newfound energy. Laughter and music filled the air, and as Charlie joined in the revelry, he felt a sense of belonging. Each creature danced alongside him, embodying the essence of all he had learned, and just as he thought the day couldn't get any better, an unexpected twist awaited him, a reunion with Maya's spirit. As the festival reached its peak, Charlie felt a surge of energy coursing through him. The laughter, the music, the warmth of the creatures surrounding him, it was a celebration of life and emotions that felt both foreign and deeply familiar. He twirled Joy around, her laughter ringing like chimes, and he caught Anger trying to set up a mini fireworks display, each burst reflecting a different emotion, a riot of colors that danced in the night sky. In the midst of the joyful chaos, a gentle breeze swept through the festival, and Charlie felt a shift in the atmosphere. It was subtle at first, like the quiet hush before a storm, but then he saw her. A figure materialized at the edge of the celebration, radiant yet ethereal, with a soft glow that seemed to pulse with every heartbeat. Maya. Charlie's breath caught in his throat as he stared, disbelief mingling with longing. She wore a dress that shimmered like sunlight on water, her hair flowing around her like a golden halo. It was the Maya he remembered, vibrant and alive, yet there was something otherworldly about her presence. Maya, he called out, his voice barely a whisper. She smiled, that familiar smile that had once made his heart race and his worries fade. Charlie, she replied, her voice like a gentle breeze. I'm so glad to see you here. The world around him faded into a blur as he stepped toward her, his heart pounding with a mix of emotions. Joy, confusion, and an overwhelming sense of nostalgia washed over him. How are you here? Emotions don't disappear, they linger, transform, and sometimes take on new forms. She gestured to the creatures around them, who continued their festivities, blissfully unaware of the profound moment unfolding at the edge of the celebration. This place is a reflection of that truth. It's where we confront our pasts. Charlie felt a swell of emotions rise within him, joy that she was there, but also a deep ache of sadness. I've missed you, he admitted, his voice thick with unspoken words. I didn't realize how much until now. I know, Maya replied softly. You've carried my memory like a weight, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can let go, Charlie. But how? He asked, feeling vulnerable in her presence. How do I move on without forgetting you? You don't have to forget me, Maya said, stepping closer. Just as you're learning from joy, anger, and grief, you can learn from me too. Love is meant to be celebrated, not mourned. Tears brimmed in Charlie's eyes as he processed her words. I thought that letting go meant losing you completely. I felt so lost after. I know, she interrupted gently. But remember, our love was beautiful. It was real. And it shaped who you are today. Embrace that. You can take the lessons and cherish the memories without being consumed by them. As she spoke, he felt the warmth of her presence envelop him. Memories flooded back, the laughter they shared, the dreams they built, the love that had once felt so solid. But now, standing before him in this strange and magical place, he realized that their love was still alive, morphing into something new. I don't want to be sad anymore, he whispered, tears streaming down his cheeks. I want to be happy again. Maya reached out, brushing his cheek with her fingers, a touch so gentle it felt like a balm on his soul. Then choose happiness. It's your choice, Charlie. Let go of the guilt and the pain, and hold on to the joy we shared. It's all still there, waiting for you. As her words sank in, Charlie felt a profound release. It was as if a dam within him had burst, and the emotions he had hoarded came rushing out in a torrent. He sobbed, not from despair but from a deep and cleansing joy, each tear a tribute to the love they had shared and the lessons he had yet to learn. The festival around him pulsed with energy, and the creatures began to circle them, creating a supportive space as he released his grief. Joy stepped forward, her eyes shining with empathy. Let it all out, Charlie. This is your moment. Charlie fell to his knees, overwhelmed by the depth of his emotions. He cried for the love he had lost, the pain he had carried, and the joy he had forgotten. He felt grief beside him, wrapping a comforting arm around his shoulders, while anger offered a fierce presence, urging him to release all that had been trapped inside. Love radiated warmth, filling the void where his heart had once felt heavy. Maya knelt beside him, her essence intertwining with his emotions. You're not alone, Charlie. You never were. As he cried, the creatures sang a melodious tune, harmonizing with the rhythm of his heart. The air shimmered with magic, wrapping around him like a blanket, urging him to let go. And gradually, he felt lighter. The burdens of the past began to lift, replaced by a warm glow that spread through his body. When he finally looked up, the world around him was brighter. The colors of the festival seemed more vibrant, the laughter sweeter, and Maya's glow more radiant. Thank you, he whispered, breathless. Thank you for helping me understand. Thank yourself, Maya said, her smile bright. You did this, Charlie. You faced your fears and opened your heart again. As the celebration resumed around him, Charlie rose to his feet, feeling a surge of gratitude for this place, these creatures, and the journey he had embarked upon. He turned to Joy, who beamed with pride, her tail wagging in excitement. You did it. You faced the music and danced through it. Yeah, but I couldn't have done it without you all, Charlie said, his heart swelling with appreciation. Exactly. Emotions are meant to be shared, anger chimed in, still buzzing with energy. Now let's celebrate. The group erupted into a jubilant dance, swirling under the stars, their laughter echoing through the canyon. Charlie found himself laughing along, the sound genuine and free. He felt as if a weight had been lifted, replaced by a buoyancy he hadn't experienced in years. As the night wore on, Charlie embraced his friends, each representing a vital aspect of his journey. Joy, anger, grief, and love danced around him, reminding him of the beautiful chaos of being human. They shared stories and laughter, weaving new memories that would stay with him long after he left the ranch. In the early hours of the morning, when the stars began to fade, Charlie realized it was time for him to return to his life, but he knew he would carry this experience with him. He felt lighter, more vibrant, ready to face whatever awaited him back in the real world. As he approached the gate of Soul Ranch, Joy walked beside him, her expression serious yet warm. Promise me something, Charlie. Anything. Promise you'll keep feeling. Allow yourself to embrace every emotion that comes your way. Don't shy away from them. I promise, Charlie replied, the sincerity of his words resonating deep within him. And don't forget about us, Joy added with a wink. You can always visit. We'll be here, waiting to dance with you again. With one last look back at the ranch, the creatures waving goodbye, and the vibrant colors swirling in his mind, Charlie stepped through the gate and back into his reality. The world seemed brighter, more alive, and he felt ready to embrace it all, the good, the bad, and everything in between. The city welcomed him back with its familiar sounds, the honking cars, the chatter of pedestrians, the scent of fresh coffee wafting from the cafe down the street. Charlie walked with a new spring in his step, a grin plastered across his face. As he entered his office building, he found the same boring landscape of cubicles and fluorescent lights waiting for him. But instead of feeling trapped, he felt invigorated. He greeted his co-workers with a genuine smile, surprising them all. When a colleague asked him about his weekend, he shared his adventures at Soul Ranch, embellishing the details with humor and flair. You should have seen the half-cow, half-human thing. It was like being in a weird dream, he laughed, relishing their reactions. Each day that followed, Charlie embraced his emotions fully, whether it was the joy of a good joke, the grief of a sad song, or the anger that surged during a frustrating meeting. He took the time to laugh, to feel, and to reflect, allowing the lessons of the ranch to guide him. In the evenings, he'd sit on his balcony, gazing at the stars, feeling a sense of connection to the universe. And every now and then, he'd close his eyes and remember the warm glow of Maya's smile, knowing that their love would always be a part of him, transformed yet ever present. With each passing day, he found new ways to celebrate life. He started a blog about emotional well-being, sharing his journey and the quirky lessons he learned at Soul Ranch. The stories poured out of him, filled with humor and honesty, resonating with readers who found solace in his words. As he built connections with others, Charlie felt a growing sense of community. He laughed, cried, and celebrated with friends, all while nurturing the delicate balance of his emotions. And though life would always have its challenges, he approached them with a newfound resilience. The weight of guilt and sorrow had been replaced with gratitude and hope. Charlie was no longer just living, he was thriving. Years later, as he looked back on that fateful weekend at the Soul Ranch, he smiled, knowing it had changed the course of his life forever. He had learned to dance with his emotions, to embrace the full spectrum of what it meant to be human. "Thank you," he whispered to the stars one night, a soft smile spreading across his face. "Thank you for the journey." And as if in response, the stars twinkled brightly, reminding him that love, laughter, and the joy of feeling were not just parts of life, they were life itself. The end.